Eldrazi's are the biggest, baddest guys in the history of Magic the Gathering, and we're going to run you through the top 10 list. But we're starting off here with 3 honorable mentions that are all non-creature spells. So first up we have All Is Dust, which is a 7-drop, and at sorcery speed, you make each player sacrifice all colored permanents they control. So this is a one-sided board wipe. It is expensive at 7 CMC, but you can pretty much clear out everybody else's board while hopefully maintaining your own. Next up, we got Eldrazi Conscription. It's an 8-drop enchantment aura. It enchants target creature, give them +10/+10, trample, and Annihilator 2. And you'll see Annihilator a lot in this video. Basically, whenever that creature attacks, defending player sacrifices X permanents, where X is that Annihilator number. So this aura is going to really beef up one of your creatures and turn them into an Eldrazi. Pretty scary. And last up, we got Not of This World, which is a 7-drop instant, and it counters target spell or ability that targets a permanent you control. And it costs 7 less if that target is a creature with power 7 or greater. So if someone tries to kill one of your Eldrazi's with a kill spell or something, you can cast this for free and counter that spell. So let's start off our top 10 list at number 10 with Conduit of Ruin. This is a 6-drop creature, it's 5/5. And when you cast Conduit of Ruin, you can search your library for a colorless creature spell with CMC 7 or greater and put it on top of your library. And it also discounts the first creature spell you cast each turn by 2, which is super helpful because you'll be able to go grab your best Eldrazi and then cast it for cheaper next turn. And at number 9, we have Artisan of Kozilek. It's a 9-drop, 10/9 creature, and when you cast Artisan of Kozilek, you can return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is extremely helpful to bring back those really sick Eldrazi creatures after they've been killed. And it also has Annihilator 2, so that's going to help wipe out your opponent's board state, and it's always good to have. Next up, at number 8, we have Ulamog the Infinite Gyre, which is an 11-drop creature, 10/10. When you cast this spell, destroy target permanent. So right off the bat, you're just destroying something from someone's board. He's also got Indestructible and Annihilator 4. So this guy's going to be really hard to deal with. Going to wipe out people's board when he attacks without Annihilator. And his last ability you're going to see pretty often is when Ulamog hits the graveyard, he gets shuffled back in your library so he can keep coming back for some more. And at number 7, we have Kozilek the Great Distortion. He's a 10-drop, 12/12 creature. And when you cast Kozilek, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, you draw cards equal to the difference. And this is really crucial in the late game when you're probably going to be casting this card. If you only have 1 or 2 cards in hand, you're just going to completely refill your hand and have lots of card advantage. He also has Menace, and his last ability is you can discard a card with mana value X and counter a target spell with mana value X. So because you'll have a full grip, you'll be able to counter hopefully some spells from your opponents and probably be able to control the board pretty well. This is a really good Eldrazi card. At number 6, we have Void Winnower. It's a 9 CMC, 11/9 creature that has a passive ability that says your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana costs, and your opponents can't block with creatures with even converted mana costs. So essentially, any even CMC spells or creatures that your opponents have are going to be completely turned off. It's especially deadly in Commander if opponents have a even CMC commander that's not on the battlefield. They'll never be able to cast their commander until Void Winnower is dealt with. So that makes this extremely powerful and hard to deal with. At number 5, we have Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. The 10-drop, 10/10. When you cast him, you just exile 2 permanents right away. It could be lands, creatures, whatever. Comes in, 2 things, you eat it off the board. He's also indestructible, and his last ability strikes fear in anybody who sees it. When he attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library. So this doesn't say mill, it doesn't say put 20 cards in the graveyard, exile. 20 cards just gone. So a great political tool if you got them, because you can say, you don't want to get, a quarter of your deck thrown away, do you? At number 4, we have It That Betrays. This is a 12-drop, 11/11 creature with Annihilator 2, which is that's okay for a 12-drop. But then his last ability says, whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, put that onto the battlefield under your control. So when he attacks with that Annihilator, the defending player is going to have to sacrifice 2 permanents, and you get them. So you're going to have so much more momentum. Your board state's going to be built up a lot bigger than your opponent's. And it works really well with all the other Eldrazi's that have Annihilator. Next up, at number 3, we have EMRAKUL, the Promised End. He's a 13-drop, 13/13, that has an ability that says he costs 1 less to cast for each card type among cards in your graveyard. Which, it might not be a lot. You might only have like creature, an instant, and a sorcery, so it might still be 10. But it helps discount them. And when you cast EMRAKUL, you actually gain control of target opponent during their next turn. And then they get an extra turn after that to make up for it. But that is a vicious ability that you get to just play someone's turn for them. He's also got flying, trample, and protection from instants to boot. So this card is really going to just destroy one of your opponents. And yeah, any card that says you get to play an opponent's turn is just deadly. And at number 2, we got Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. The 10-drop, 12/12. When you cast him, just draw 4 cards, which already is worth about 4 or 5 mana in its own right. But he also has Annihilator 4, and when he gets put into a graveyard from anywhere, he gets shuffled back into the library. So you get a lot of value for a 10-drop. You're going to be able to have a full hand. That Annihilator is going to help wipe out one of your opponent's board state, and if he dies, just put him right back in your library. No big deal. And at the number 1 spot, you guessed it, we got EMRAKUL, the Aeons Torn. This card is a 15-drop, 15/15 creature. It's actually banned in Commander. The ruling committee deemed this card to be too unfun to play against, and here's why. First off, he can't be countered. Secondly, when you cast him, you take an extra turn after this one, and that's pretty much the unfun part. Also has flying, protection from spells that are 1 or more colors, and Annihilator 6. So he's pretty much impossible to kill, has flying, Annihilator 6. You get a whole extra turn, so once you cast him, you're going to have at least 15 mana for your extra turn, and you're probably just going to win. And he has that ability to get shuffled back in his library. So EMRAKUL is the king of Eldrazi. Let me know in the comments what you think of our top 10 list, and which one of these Eldrazi cards you want to pick up. And like always, if you like these videos, we'd appreciate a thumbs up and a subscription. Take it easy.